has been telling me, what my son has been telling me is that he's been fighting a criminal case on some charges he were forced out of your custody on.
Okay. Well, the charges that he was here on was unlawful delivery of oxycodone, promoting prostitution, unlawful possession of oxycodone, and compelling prostitution. And he hasn't been back since then, so I can transfer you to the court and see if he's gone to court, but he has not been in custody on any new charges or on those charges since that time.
When and can you tell me exactly when he was booked?
He came in on May 16th, and it looks like, let's see here. Looks like the first two charges, there was no contest, and they weren't going to proceed with charging him on those. And the other two, I haven't had any findings on those, so they don't file on him. So he's free and clear of those charges.
You want to watch it in my room? Come on. Get your blanket. Come on. Let me run that video one more time.
What my son has been telling me is that he's been fighting a criminal case on some charges he was forced out of your custody on.
Okay. Well, the charges that he was here on was unlawful delivery of oxycodone, promoting prostitution, unlawful possession of oxycodone, and compelling prostitution. And he hasn't been back since then, so I can transfer you to the court
can you tell me exactly when he was booked?
He came in on May 16th, and it looks like, let me see here.
How is that even?
Looks like the first two charges, there was no contest, and they weren't going to proceed with charging him on those.
Mm-hmm.
And the other two, I haven't had any findings on those, so they don't filed on him. So he's free and clear of those charges.
Free and clear of charges? Okay. That sounds about right, legit. So my whole thing is, why didn't this get put on the indictment? Why did these charges get placed on the indictment, Doug? We would never know because Douglas Hanson loves to manipulate paperwork. I wanted to actually come up here and test a signature, an E-Corp signature for you guys. So we're going to get right into that too. I need a blank form for this. What should I use? All my paperwork is put up. So this is going to be my example. Order to show cause. Man, I might have to open up my... I just want to show you how they lift signatures in order to make it happen. Because that's what Douglas Hanson is known for. He's known to do stuff like that. Out of the ordinary type stuff. So bear with me. How would I put that up there? I have to open up my case. Okay, took me a while. Let's see if we gonna be able to do this. So basically, I got my example right here, and y'all not ready for the Dropbox. Make a signature. Okay, I see how I'm gonna have to do this. Create a signature. You will see me on the screen for sure. But what you don't see is that I actually got this piece of paper, and what I'm gonna do is the same thing Douglas Hanson did, which was he left the signature of these judges in order to do a legal signature. So basically, what we're gonna do is that should be done, and this is basically hello. Yeah, yeah. What? Yeah, I'm on the phone. Man, I'm busy. I gotta call you back. As you can see, what I've done, and let me bring that screen back up so I can show you guys. You can go to create a signature again, just so y'all can see me, so that way I won't have to turn the camera. So basically, I am in fact using one of Douglas Hanson corrupted paperwork. I just lifted the signature. As you can see, the same thing. It does, and what I want to do is put that stamp logo. You can't put that stamp logo on there, right? So all you can do is actually see me actually working the legitimate paperwork right here, and I basically lift that signature. This is supposed to be Vance D Day signature, right? And like I said, Douglas Hanson, he's corrupted. This is what he likes to do. He likes to do stuff like this. So as you can see, I got several different examples, right? So what he do is then he'll delete it. He'll delete it, and then that's how you got the signature to be used for another case. How many cases have Douglas Hanson did this to? I already know for a fact that over here the paperwork don't add up. Paperwork don't add up. Let me bring one of these over here. Get this. I'm gonna get it set up before I put it. So we'll just dive in to what's at stake here. I said to myself I was gonna do this. I was gonna do this for the sole purpose because I wanted to prove to you guys that Julian Fischer and Douglas Hanson also been working together. This is something that they love. No. Sorry. Trying to figure this out. Everything got to be on and working before I really dive in. Everything got to be on and working before I really. Alright, so that is that song I'm using, controlling the mics. So let's get into it. Then let's get into why I really wanted to get on here and talk about the Oregon Judicial Department and how Douglas Hanson is cheating. So this is my case, but I'll take you guys all the way out because I want to actually put in my wife's case first. 43220. What is the code? KHSJ8A. Submit. Which would give you my wife. And the sole purpose for this is because Douglas Hanson is claiming that he's the lead attorney on this case. Does it even say his name on it? Right there, lead attorney Douglas Christopher Hanson. He never prosecuted this case. He never ever was at court. Douglas Hanson cheated. He all through the paperwork. Conflict of interest is big here. The prosecutor lied to the courts and said that there was an EDP offer given, and you will see it down in here that he's. But one thing that I wanted to show you guys first is the fact that me and my wife had the same judge, Channing Bennett, Thomas O'Neill. Comments. Right here, see up here on his own paperwork where he say he lead attorney. He was never in court. Check it out. Look at the notes. Disposition events. Busted right here. Courtroom. Channing Bennett. Courtroom. I gotta go see because this is good information to my eyes. Good information. You'll see I got her court audio transcript right here, which is going to support the parties that was in court. Now, how did I get my wife court audio transcripts? Solely because we're husband and wife and we can share information between each other. There's no court order protecting against us or each other, even though they put me through that situation, and I can prove how they put me through that situation by trying to put restraining orders on me and my wife. We just play our roles and our position right to get the best results. But right here you see where it says room CC, that's Judge Channing Bennett, court appointed Thomas O'Neill, District Attorney John H. Turner. Defendant Jessica Johnson. See, so when you look at Jessica's court audio transcripts, oh God, Jessica got a lot of information here, by the way. But when you look at her court audio transcripts.
Next matter is Jessica Johnson, 14C43220. Ms. Johnson is present, Your Honor. On her behalf, will acknowledge receipt of a one-count information. We'll waive further reading and advice if rights. Ms. Johnson's true name and date of birth are correctly set forth therein. Your Honor, she would like to take advantage of the EDP offer, which in this matter is that it be treated as a misdemeanor. $100 fine, $20 towards court costs, book and print. She and I have been through the request for attorney. The petition comes for plea. We're prepared to proceed. Thank you.
All right, you're Jessica Johnson. You understand what your attorney just said is you want to plead guilty today to one count of prostitution. He has provided me a couple documents indicating your decisions. The first is a request for an attorney and acknowledgement of limited investigation. Do you have an opportunity to read and sign this document?
So what is Douglas Hanson doing?
You understand that with this document, you're requesting appointment of an attorney and have agreed to pay $20 for that service.
What?
Also acknowledging that because you want to take an early offer today, your attorney does not have the opportunity to review the discovery in depth, investigate the charge, or prepare defenses on
This
your
all
behalf.
was a setup.
You want to waive that right?
Yes.
I don't accept that as a knowing acknowledgement.
In this court audio transcript, you're not going to hear from Douglas
I have
Hanson.
a petition to enter a plea.
He
Do you
never
have an opportunity
prosecuted
to
this
read and
case.
sign this document?
Like he was
And
telling
you have
my
an opportunity
wife.
to discuss it with your attorney and what it means to plead guilty. And have you discussed with your attorney all the rights that you're giving up as listed in this document?
How, when she met him on the date
Understand that
in
one of
question.
those rights is your right to present the evidence against you to a jury, and a jury would decide whether or not you were guilty.
Mm.
You want to waive that right? Anyone promised you anything or threatened you?
No,
with
because she
anything
never
not
talked
in
to
this
none
document
of them.
and get you to sign it. Do you have any questions for me or you?
DA, where's the DA? There's no
And
DA
as to
involved.
count one, prostitution, how do you plead guilty or not guilty? This document says you're guilty because on May 16, 2014, in Marion County, you agreed to engage in sexual conduct in return for a fee. Is that true? All right, I'll accept that as a knowing and voluntary plea. I see the recommendation is $100 and booked and printed.
That's it?
Say? Well, I mean, it's a dangerous business that ladies get killed doing this, and other ways to mess up your life. So, if you need help getting out,
I am actually getting the proper help that life was. I actually stay in Gresham, and I just enrolled in major in nursing.
okay, this is all something you can overcome, but it is a seriously dangerous way, and many women who get engaged in this work are maimed or killed doing it. So I hope you'll do something different. Okay, good luck to you.
So you see right there that there was no prosecutor there. There was no there. Why would there be John H. Turner but a lead attorney by the name of Douglas Hanson? Douglas Hanson basically manipulated the courts. He manipulated the judge. He manipulated my wife. He manipulated everything. This judge said the name caught my eye, but it's a different person. So we're going to bounce over to how we both are sharing the same information here. And I'm going to bring this back over here real quick because I'm going to open up another tab for this. We just stacking paperwork on top of paperwork. And the reason for this is because you just heard my wife's court audio transcript. There was no Douglas Hanson there. There was not one single time Douglas Hanson was ever present in that court. And that's why when you hear him in a conversation with my wife, he confused about my wife being on probation, but he's claimed that he's the prosecutor that actually prosecuted the case. The man don't make no sense. You know what I'm saying? Right here, the Salem Police Department says that me and my wife supposedly was arrested on the same day. They split the charges up. Douglas Hanson split the charges up. Charged my wife with prostitution, which basically led to the rest of these charges. Because how do you get compelling prostitution, promoting prostitution with no prostitute? You charged her with the case. You charged her, and you then said there was no evidence. Let's see, lack of evidence and lack of investigation. So basically, my wife's case is closed. It ain't even giving the public the actual legit truth of the paperwork that went along with my wife situation. And like I said, they said that my wife was arrested for prostitution. Right here, arrested. So she had to have been given Miranda warning. She had to been read her Miranda rights. She never was arrested. That's why I said my wife was never arrested. She was just detained. Detained means you're not. We will run your name, see if you got any warrants, see if you on parole. Da da da. If so, then you'll be arrested. But if everything pans out, we'll give you this 30-day citation to appear in court. When they gave her that 30-day citation, there was no time that she had been allowed to contact an attorney. But behind the scenes, they appointed her one for that day. They appointed her attorney on the day that she was supposed to appear 30 days after the incident. Douglas Hanson knew that. He's a prosecutor. This is what he do for a living. This is what he do. Let me switch so y'all could see. Let me switch so y'all could see. So y'all could actually see me now. Because we're going to get into it. And I want y'all to know that I am the one. I am, in fact, the one that's... I am, in fact, the one that's saying all this. I'm the one. It is me, Matthew Johnson, Jr., right? Happy birthday to me. But what I'm saying is we played Douglas Hanson court audio transcript. We know for a fact. I don't know why my window keep going over there. We know for a fact that Douglas Hanson received this crime incident report from his police officer Roger Joe Smith at the time. At the time he said arrested. Jessica never went to jail. Book and printed and gone. And that's what I'm saying. That's why you don't see her case actually pertaining to nothing. But there's a tremendous amount of paperwork that Douglas Hanson ain't telling people about Jessica Johnson. Jessica Johnson got her own paperwork. And like I said, it's not adding up. It's not adding up to Douglas Hanson being there. He was never there. We kept everything. You subpoenaed my wife. You did a lot of wrongful things to her. We even wrote up Willow Snowfarrell actually supposedly pretending to be victim advocate. And let me see. I can delete all this. I ain't gonna delete that screen, but I will go this way with you, Willow Snowfarrell. See, Douglas Hanson know that we research. He knows that. He knows that we look up information and what we did with Willow. My dashboard is tripping, so I'm trying to wait for it. There you go. You got to be able to get and receive the information. So Willow Snowfarrell, how did Willow Snowfarrell come about in this is because when Douglas Hanson made that phone call, he was not supposed to talk to my wife. He was not supposed to talk to her. So when we talk about using an office for personal gain, this is what it looks like, using the office for personal gain. He wanted to take Willow Snowfarrell, and this is the thing that Douglas Hanson don't understand about us is that he might have told people about us, but he didn't tell people everything about us. He didn't tell people that we kept a firm amount of evidence. So let's play this. I like doing it.
This is Doug Hanson with the DA's office.
Uh-huh.
Oh no, sorry. Excuse me.
That's okay. And I have you on speakerphone in my office, and Willow is here as well. You talk with her. Hi, Jessica.
Hi.
That's all I wanted to point to is the fact that Willow Snowfarrell, in fact, was the one that orchestrated the this whole thing between my wife and Douglas Hanson's conversation that day. Anyway, it's because my wife had made contact with Willow Snowfarrell, and she was like, this whole thing. My wife had made contact with Willow Snowfarrell, and she was like, Douglas Hanson used me for a victim witness, and I don't have a victim witness advocate and this and that. And she told my wife that she would look into it and that. But what we didn't understand at the time is that Douglas Hanson was Willow Snowfarrell's boss. Family violence. Look what it say about her. Willow Snowfarrell, Family Violence Program Coordinator at Marion County District Attorney's Office. Family. So basically, if the complaint from the district attorney is that there's domestic violence going on in the house, Matthew is forcing his wife into prostitution, you need to be assigned to her. Douglas Hanson did not do none of that. My wife reached out to her way before Douglas Hanson. This was a step that Douglas Hanson was trying to neglect to go through. You have to sign a victim advocate, and basically what we wanted to do is get Willow Snowfarrell's experience, see what she was doing working at the Marion County District Attorney's Office, Victim Assistance Division. I am an advocate for victims of domestic violence. Now, you heard my wife explain to Douglas Hanson about how me and her don't have domestic violence, and he then said, and that's one of the reasons why I'm allowing him to be back with you, because of that reason, and I'm saying to myself, nobody is seeing what this. He's busted. He's flat out busted. Period. Point blank. We just gonna keep on digging. She said, I am a advocate for victims of domestic violence in Marion County, or primarily these involved with the criminal justice. I help victims by providing crisis intervention and emotional support, victims' rights information, community resource referrals, and criminal justice information to help them make informed choices about their situation. I work closely with community partners on various disciplinary terms released to threat assessment, law enforcement, policy development, and change in community coordinated response to domestic violence. We really digged in on Mrs. Julian, not Mrs. Julian Fischer, but Willow Snowfarrell. And when we wanted to prove that we went to her before Douglas Hanson even took the meeting up, we have to do one of our most powerful things here at Undercover Corruptions, that we get them on the phone and we say that long as me and you give each other permission to record this phone call, it is therefore not illegal. Especially because Douglas Hanson is already doing illegal activity. If we don't record and keep up with the paperwork, how are we supposed to prove that Douglas Hanson is corrupted and has been lying? If he have done this to me and he went to the extent that he did and used the people that he used, then there's no doubt in my mind that Douglas Hanson went and charged a lot of people. A lot of innocent people is in prison.
Doesn't think I was a victim who made me into a witness, but then made my husband register as a sex offender and then said that I am his victim. So if I was his victim,
so this is the very first interview with Willow Snowfarrell and my wife. And Douglas Hanson, take notes. I'm really serious.
So in our computer system,
You're not.
when you look up a list of who parties are in a case, it has you listed in there as a witness, not as a victim.
Why I never got that? Douglas Hanson says she was a victim, though. This is the advocate, Willow Snowfarrell.
It specifically specifies that I am his victim, and his probation officer has even said I am his victim, not witness. So I'm a little bit upset about that, because with the conversation that we had, he says I was a witness, but then comes to turn around, he said that I'm a victim, and from my understanding, he is not a compeller, and I'm not under the age of 18, and that's to me kind of wrong, because at the end of the day, every single one of my victim rights has been violated, because if I'm a victim to a sex offender, then no one has ever notified me as being an advocate, and you yourself don't count as being my advocate because you wasn't with me the whole entire time of the criminal case. Like I told Douglas Hanson, I've been a vulnerable victim to a pimping and pandering case, so whatever he thinks that he's doing slickly is not going to fly, because at the end of the day, if you're saying that I'm his victim and made him into a sex offender, because a sex offender cannot be a sex offender without having a victim. So now that I know that he, on the paperwork from Marion County, that I am listed as a victim, then at the end of the day, you guys are wrong, because you guys never notified me of being a victim ever since the criminal case has started, and that's a violation of my supposed victim rights.
Well, let me look through the court document if I can and see if I can find the judgment and what it says in there. Let me pull this up to make sure that I have.
They all dancing around.
Because being a victim and a witness is two different things.
She know that because she's an advocate.
Well, that's true, and I mean, a victim can also be a witness, as in they are someone that
No.
that kind of thing. And even though sometimes when people are technically listed as a witness and not a victim, we may still provide services to them similar that we would.
It's the law. You're supposed to.
But I'm not.
Notify you about something going on with the court, or setting up an arrangement, meeting with the DA or something like that.
But none of that has happened because, like I said, if I didn't call Marion County's victim assistance to figure out why my husband and I had a no contact order, nobody from the victim assistance line in Marion County has ever contacted me to inform me that I was a victim. And one thing I do know, as being a victim prior, there's an advocate that's helping me follow this criminal case and having me informed of what was going on through the whole entire time of his case, and nobody had did that until I called, and then you called the district attorney to find out some information on my behalf. Other than that, you wasn't my advocate and nobody else was my victim's advocate. And if I can recall, Douglas Hanson said that I was a partial victim, but how can you be a partial victim? You're either a victim or you're not a victim. And when I found out that he listed me as a victim to my husband's case, I was very, very upset because that's not what the conversation us three had over this conference. And then another thing that I was a little bit upset about is because I went to go grab transcripts from the whole entire case since nobody had informed me of what was going on. How can the district attorney speak for me? Isn't that what the advocate is there for, to speak for me and have me be there and participate? Because when you're a victim to a crime, I shouldn't have to be excluded out of the criminal courts. I should be allowed to see what is going on and concurring of the events of the criminal case, and nobody has done that for me. So when he said that I was his victim, I was upset, and he had violated every single victim rights that I possibly had.
Okay. So we have a couple questions here, so I want to address those kind of in order if I can. So let me try and answer through these questions, and then we can talk some more about that more questions. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so our process for our office is if there is someone in our computer system who is listed as a victim, then that sort of triggers us to reach out to that victim and have contact. So if a DA notifies us in some way that someone is listed as a victim. In this case, you were listed as a witness, not a victim. So that initially did not trigger us to have contact with you. Now, when you contacted me, then I kind of initiated that and followed up and tried to find out more about what was going on with this case. But, I had been notified previously about, any involvement there. And frankly, I don't think we had any way to contact you in the beginning. So even if I had been notified that you were someone we needed to reach out to, I know there was an investigator from our office who had been trying to have contact with you to have you serve a subpoena, and they were having a really hard time getting a hold of you. So
why would you serve a victim with a subpoena?
But we're unable to contact them for whatever reason. We just don't have the right contact information.
That's why she no longer works with the Marion County DA's office either.
If there are things we should notify you about, we'll definitely do that. As far as the DA speaking for you, the DA is not your personal lawyer. The DA represents the state of Oregon, and so they do have certain obligations when it comes to victim rights, but their job is to prosecute the case. They do have certain obligations to sort of speak for you if you invoke those rights, but again, this is a tricky one because I think technically you weren't listed as a victim. When I'm looking at the judgment here in front of me, it talks in there's a lot of standard conditions of probation that say things like not allowed to have contact with victim without prior approval, but your name is not entered in there as a victim. However, it is entered later on where it says defendant may have contact with Jessica Johnson, his children, and minor children within his extended family.
That's their favorite line.
There are standard conditions as far as the registering as a sex offender or conditions of not being able to have contact with kids. This is an exception to that rule, and that's something that we specifically put in there because we knew that was a concern.
You see that?
And the DA was fine with that exception.
That's a setup.
But this is the thing, when you're a sex offender, when you commit a sexual crime on somebody, there's a victim to you being a sex offender. I've never known a sex offender to be able to supposedly commit a crime on a person and still have the rights to be around the person that the district attorney prosecuted and believes that if he thinks I'm a victim, why would he allow my husband to be back with me?
Man.
That doesn't make sense. I thought he was supposed to prosecute bad people and protect the innocent.
Right.
Are you saying you don't want contact to be allowed with your husband?
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is if he's the district attorney, and as you heard many times, he believed that I was a victim. So if he believes that I'm a victim, why would he allow my husband to be around me if he felt that I was being victimized? Whether it was mentally, physically, promoting, whatever his biased opinion was, why did he allow that? Because I've never known sex offenders to commit a crime on somebody and still be allowed to be around their victim. That's not constitutionally.
Right.
Well, I don't know about it being constitutional or not.
It's
You're not an attorney.
Right.
Yeah.
I know he has a certain amount of discretion in
Not that much.
make certain plea offers or negotiate things with the defense attorney.
But see, I'm listed.
Reaching agreement.
But I'm listed. You said that in the computer I'm listed as a witness. So if I'm listed as a witness, then why am I listed saying I'm a victim, but then he could be back around me? Like, that's what I'm saying. It's very contradicting.
Yeah.
Plea,
So I get to be around the witness.
You're saying that you wanted him to register as a sex offender because you believe that I was a victim of him promoting me as a prostitute. So why would you allow him to be back with me if you felt that he promoted me as a prostitute?
Right.
That doesn't make sense.
So don't,
The reason
Hanson.
he has to register as a sex offender is because the crime that he was convicted of is required to have a
Oh, not because I committed a crime on her.
Any differently. He has discretion about some things, but that's not one of them. And I remember him talking about that when we talked, that even if he wanted to say that he didn't have to register as a
You don't have to charge me with that
That's the
charge.
thing, though.
You don't have to charge me with that charge.
His lawyer, Gail Ryder, specifically specified that if he took a no contest plea to the delivery of an oxycodone, he would drop the charges. To me, he has all the original charges, so there was no, he lied to me and said there was extensive plea offers when there wasn't. So at the end of the day, again, Douglas
Busted.
lied to a victim/witness because at the end of
Busted,
the
boy.
day, you're supposed to
I'm gonna
inform me
be
and let me know
releasing
what is
everything.
going on of the case, but instead he lied and said there was extensive plea offers, but now that we're together and we see the evidence, it's like, well, wow, you really pretty much coerced us and railroaded him into taking something, and then he didn't do anything on his end. He said, oh, well, you'll drop a charge, you'll plead to no contest to delivery of an oxycodone, but then at last minute, everything he brings back promoting prostitution, registered as a sex offender, everything. That's kind of wrong. That's pretty much not keeping up on his deal.
Right,
that's
great
what he had
nigger.
told Gail Ryder, which Gail Ryder had informed my husband, which my husband was under the impression that he was going to have a no contest plea to a delivery of an oxycodone, and then now at the last minute it's a different story, and now I'm a partial victim, I'm a witness. It seems to me like the case was all over the place, and they was trying to keep me from certain information. Then on top of it, come to find out, Douglas Hanson wasn't even the district attorney that charged me for prostitution. So how in the hell did he get the information from my case to prosecute my husband? I don't know, but it's a little bit funny because at the end of the day, it's a very contradicting plea. You know, you could be around your wife, and you guys all keep giving me these little runabouts of the law, thinking that I don't know the law. It's like you guys are underestimating me, forgetting that I was, if he did his homework, he would have seen that I was a material witness from a prior pimp and pandering case. I was actually a vulnerable victim, and I have all that information because I went down to Multnomah County records and got all of that information to show that the difference between that case and this case and what they did wrong and what they did wrong. At the end of the day, if I was a witness or a victim and if I'm listed in the system, you guys are still supposed to notify me and letting me know what was going on in the case, and nobody did.
What you gotta say for yourself, Willow?
Nobody informed me that I was a witness to this case. Nobody informed me.
What do you got to say, Willow?
Douglas didn't even want to really hear what I have to say because he was obviously upset because I knew my rights and I knew the law, and he didn't like it. He still wanted to make me into this supposed victim, make me into a witness to be excluded from the court. I mean, at the end of the day, of course, I'm going to be a little bit upset and have some questions and kind of want to raise hell because I feel like he did certain things that was wrong. And I know he sits on a very high as the chairman of the victim's domestic violence, too. So it's like everything that I have questions for, it all leads right back to Douglas Hanson, which seems to me very fishy. Like I said in the conversation, there's
That's a conflict, don't you think?
And I know there is. And you guys keep having me, oh, well, you know, you can be listed as a victim and then you can be as a witness. And it's like you guys' story is really not collaborating the right way.
Sure not.
And I know that. And no matter what you guys try to say, I know my rights as a supposed victim and witness. And at the end of the day, you guys are supposed to inform me. Who was my advocate then? Who was this person that was supposed to help me understand what was going on and let me know court dates?
Chopping her.
Everything.
Chopping her. Boom, 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 boom. Chopping her.
What you say or what he said, he
Chopping
was wrong
her.
because what he did was wrong. Nobody informed me. Nobody let me know. A whole different district attorney charged me, and now all of a sudden I'm a partial victim and witness to a crime of an innocent man.
Right.
And then the judgment, it says I'm a victim, then I'm not a victim. He could come stay with me. He can't. It's very contradicting. Very contradicting.
Mm-hmm.
So, Jessica, what can I do to help you?
She's sour.
What is it that I can do, or what would you like to see?
Yeah, you know you got chopped.
I might be able to help you with.
She got chopped.
They pretty much abused Douglas Hanson abused the rights of me being a victim and / witness because at the end of the day, nobody informed me. Why? If I was a witness to this case and a partial victim, why didn't anybody inform me from the beginning of this case? Because as a victim and witness, you have an advocate speaking for you. And it seems to me you're a little agitated in me being precise on this because I know the rights. And if you're supposed to be an advocate to victims, why weren't you a part of this criminal case with me from the jump?
Well, I see where you're coming from.
I bet you do.
You have some experience in this before, and you know a lot of the information about how this stuff works.
Yes, I do, and he did not do it right. Period. He did not do this. He made me into
This
a
is
victim,
why
he
Willow
said,
Snowfarrell
because
left.
He supposedly believed I don't have any marital rights. I don't have any marital rights because of what? I'm a prostitute, whatever his belief is. At the end of the day, like I said, I've warned them. I've been through a case where I was actually a vulnerable victim. And it seems to me that Douglas Hanson took my prior case and passed and tried to make me into a victim again. So my main concern, like I keep saying, is why didn't I have a victim's advocate from the jump? I had one last case when I was dealing with the actual real gorilla type of pimp who beat me up and stuff. I had an advocate supporting me, counseling all throughout the criminal case. Why weren't you here from the jump? Why did it take me to contact you guys in order for me to have some type of voice? Because it seems to me like they took my voice away.
Well, I can't speak to what has happened in past cases with you or what might be other agencies' protocols, but what I can tell you is that when we have a victim advocate assigned to a case, it's when there's a listed victim and we know how to contact them, and we didn't have either of those circumstances.
Why, Doug? That's something you should take up with Douglas Hanson, right?
Contact information. If he's supposedly trying to mind play me and say that, oh, he's the one that prosecuted me when he
right.
I have my case summary, and he is not the prosecutor for my case. So
He's listed in our system as a prosecutor on your
that's because he put it in there.
that you guys failed to realize. I'm a lot smarter than you guys give me credit for. And I had went down there and I had my case summary for my prostitution charge on June 13th. And John H. Turner was the district attorney that prosecuted me. And he is suspended now because of his not paying his bond fee.
She's
I
gassing her.
Wait, John Turner?
Yes,
Gassing her.
Turner's retired, that's why he's not here anymore.
Oh,
But
okay.
he was here to prosecute me is what you guys failing to understand.
You
Yes.
were probably in court that day because you pled guilty the first day you appeared in court. So Doug Hanson was listed in our computer as the person who was involved with the case.
How?
You may have just been the one that was in court that day.
He was.
And then
He was.
If Douglas Hanson has the information. When I went to court,
So
he should have
Douglas
had all my
Hanson is
information ready.
so basically
Because if I'm going
Douglas
to court
Hanson is
and he's
claiming
sending out my information and my birthday and my
ownership
address and
for
all,
something
how
he
in the
didn't
hell does he
do.
not have my information? And why is my information different than?
Well, did your contact information change from June 13th, 2004 until about June 2015?
No, my information has still been the same.
Yeah.
So I don't understand, how does he not have contact
Caught
information?
up,
Because
got
this
me
is the thing.
feeling
If he
it.
prosecuted
Caught
me, you
up,
should have my contact
don't
information.
know
So how
what
do you
it
not have my
is.
contact information?
Right.
That's what I'm saying. He's lying. I'm
He's
not
lying.
The address of 2062 Northeast 19th Street in Gresham.
But you know what's so funny? On my case summary, you guys have a different address. Why? I don't know. That's what I'm saying. There's some funny things that's going on, and I know that. And it seems to me you guys are all covering for each other.
Right.
Well, what I can tell you is that if you feel like there have been victim rights that were violated, that you had certain rights and that you feel like they were violated, whether by our office or by the court or something like that, there is a
No, by your office.
file something with the court for a victim rights violation claim. And if you would like, I could mail you the paperwork for that.
Please.
That's something you would like.
Yeah, I would like to, because I truly feel, as since you guys he wants to label me as a victim/witness, then at the end of the day, like I said, I've been through this before, and I know how victims work, advocates and witnesses work. I've been through this, so the things that didn't happen to me is wrong. It was a violation of a right, and that's a violation of a victim and a witness right, because at the end of the day, you're supposed to inform me, let me know that I'm a victim to a case and a witness to a case, and you guys are supposed to willingly give me the information and help me proceed through the criminal case. I shouldn't have to wait a week and a half prior to him going to trial to actually have a supposed advocate that was really never my advocate since the beginning of the criminal case. And Douglas Hanson himself even said in a conference that he knew where I was, he knew where I was staying, so therefore he's the one that looks stupid in front of you, because he told you that he didn't have any contact information, but then here he is in a conference telling you, oh, we sent subpoenas and I know you're still providing in Portland, and he knew how to get a hold of me, but he didn't. He chose not to, because he didn't want my voice to be heard, and that's wrong. And at the end of the day, I would like for you to send me the information so I can file a victim's violation of my rights, because my rights was taken because I never had a victim's advocate from the beginning of my husband's criminal case.
Okay. Are you still getting mail at the address 3181 23rd Avenue Northeast, Apartment C?
How you guys have that address but don't have
You
contact.
gave that to me on July 1st.
Yeah, I gave it to you, but Douglas Hanson had it too, because how did he send me a subpoena if he didn't have an address? See what I'm saying? He's getting himself caught up in all these lies. And I used to be a compulsive liar, so I know when somebody is lying.
We gonna expose him, baby.
All throughout his reports, and it's obvious. And he messed up by letting us be together. There's nothing he can do now.
Nothing.
The truth will come out.
It will.
Okay. So I'm going to mail you this packet, and there's two things in there. There's the actual paperwork you fill out, and then there's a couple pages of instructions. And so I'm not a lawyer, so I can't give you legal advice, but I can tell you kind of read through these.
You heard victim advocate.
What the rights are.
You heard victim advocate, but here it is, you giving her information to file a complaint on your superiors.
Okay. So one more thing. So my husband kind of really don't have a victim, huh? Since I'm listed as a witness.
Well, it looks like in the judgment you're not formally listed as a victim. The only spot that I saw mention of your name is where it says that he's allowed to have contact with you.
But his PO said that I'm a victim to his case, so that's what I'm saying. The stories is
Well, the
everything.
PO has certain discretion as well. The PO can decide things even without the TA
Hell no.
agree. So
Hell no.
that may be up to the PO to decide what they're
That's a lie.
A PO, I mean, how can a PO say that, oh, well, he can't, if the courts and if the court says I'm not a victim, then how can his PO justify that I'm a victim when he has nothing to do with the courts? It's the court is...
I'm not the PO, so I can't speak for that.
Yeah. Try to throw it on the PO. They in trouble.
I'll be looking forward to the victim's violation through the mail.
There's so much more.
Okay,
There's so much more. There's so much more to Willow Snowfarrell than meets the naked eye. Douglas Hanson moved her. Douglas Hanson gone, Julian Fischer gone, Willow Snowfarrell gone, Tobias Teamlift gone, Nellie Wrights is gone. All these people that there's still some corruption going on down there because Paige Clarkson, she's basically still the anchor. She's the one that knows a lot of the information, and as the elected DA, she better be prepared for the live stream that I have on her and her husband, because these people have attacked me. These people have threatened me. These people have followed me around. These people have illegally convicted me, and they use Douglas Hanson used office for personal gain. Like I said, you're no longer going to be able to live a successful private life knowing that there's a person like me, Matthew, out there that's exposing you. Willow Snowfarrell, I'm not done with you.
Can you hold on 1 second? Thank you. Oh, somebody grabbed it. Great. Okay, and you have?
Well, my name is Jessica Johnson, and I was wondering if you guys had received a letter last week regarding if you guys can clarify whether I'm a victim or a witness to a specific case.
Oh, yeah, I did receive that letter. Let me forward you to the advocate who is assigned to that. Okay, hold on just a moment. This is Willow.
Hi, Willow. This is Jessica Johnson. I'm not sure if you remember me from a long time ago.
I do remember you, and I had gotten your message a while back, and I had you on my list of people to call. I just hadn't gotten that far down my list yet, so so thanks for calling me back.
Oh, that's okay. I kind of have a few questions, and I'm a bit confused because, in the conversation that we had when Douglas Christopher Hanson was in the office as a district attorney prosecuting the case for C86, in the phone call, he had said that I was partially a victim, and now they're saying I'm a witness to the case of my husband for promoting prostitution, delivery of an oxycodone within 1,000 feet. My concern is, why was I a victim during the criminal proceedings, and then afterwards I became a witness? Because it just seems to me like I personally feel that Douglas Hanson had used me to prosecute my husband without really having any victims' rights, because you didn't come into play until about a week before his trial and before he took the plea. And now I'm listed as a witness, and as a witness, I don't have to really partake in or be informed of any other criminal proceedings. So I feel that Douglas Hanson literally played me, because he said he made me into a victim because I couldn't claim my marital privilege, and I'm not understanding how he made me into a victim when I wasn't victimized.
Okay. And so I'll do my best to explain what I can. So I think that you were always labeled, for lack of a better word, in our
victim to an actual pimping case, and I know the difference between a witness and a victim's role, and by him speaking for me as if I was a victim, and I have it in his own words that he specifically said that he made me into a victim, because I'm not a lawyer, he is, and he made me into a victim because I couldn't claim my marital privilege, but yet later on he subpoenaed me as a witness, as a spouse witness. But even under the ORS code, under the spouse witness, yes, he can lawfully subpoena me as a witness, except for the Rule 505 of me being a husband and wife, and that's why I kept trying to get him to understand. But he wanted to play me and get all egotistic with me because he's a district attorney and he's a lawyer and blah blah blah, and thinking that I don't know the difference between a victim and a witness. But he himself said that I was partially a victim. But my thing is, how could I be, like I kept trying to get him to answer, how could I be partially a victim? So what it seems like is that Doug was saying that Matthew partially victimized me. How does a person partially become victimized? Like, does the offender kind of proceed in wanting to offend and victimize a person, but then thought about it and said, oh, you know what, I'm not going to victimize this person, so I'm just going to partially back down, because that doesn't make sense. And I feel like he was underestimating my intelligence, thinking that I don't know the difference between a victim and a witness. And if I was a witness, wouldn't Doug have already sent the criminal investigator to investigate the situation on what I had saw my husband commit a crime? Because a witness is a standby, and I actually was charged as a prostitute on June 13th, and then that's what I'm saying, like, what did I witness? Because I was cited, came back from court 30 days later, and now I'm finding out that I'm a witness and nobody's informed me of anything, and I'm aware of my husband having probation hearings, and it's not hard for me to go to the courthouse and see the paperwork that's public. And the part that I have an issue is Douglas Hanson said in the judgment that my husband could have contact with me and the kids immediately, but Gillian Fischer is saying that in the motion of cause to revoke his probation that he had contact with me and the kids, and to me that's a bit contradicting, and that's not fair, because the judge and Doug said that he could have immediately contact, and I'm aware he's no longer in the office and he reassigned it to Gillian Fischer, and I've called Gillian Fischer, but she doesn't seem to want to answer me because they obviously think that it's a biased situation, that it's my husband and I'm gonna try to help him, and that's not the situation, because I don't want the district attorneys using me to send my husband away, because I feel like that's what they're doing, because Gillian Fischer saying that, well, he had contact with the Jessica and the children, and that's me and the kids, and I'm not understanding why she would try to send him to prison for that, when Doug and Susan Tripp said he could immediately have contact with me, and it's also in the case summary, so, and the judgment. So why would he be going back to prison because of that? And I'm no longer a victim, or I'm not the victim. So if I'm not the victim, why would she write down that he had contact with me? Because I'm not being victim, I'm just a witness.
So there's a lot of different questions that you have, and I'm not sure I can answer all of them. What I can say is usually, because it looks like he has a probation officer that's from, I think, Multnomah County, and that Stephanie Allen, yeah, and that was why his next court date, originally they had a court date scheduled for, I think it was today, and it got rescheduled to December 6th because the probation officer was not available on today's date.
Right, because the motion of continuance, which was granted because she was going to be out of state for training from the 2nd to the 8th. Yes, I'm aware.
Okay, and so usually when someone's on supervised probation, we get some kind of report or documentation from the probation officer about what a person is doing or is not doing while they're on probation, and if that violates any terms of his probation. And I can see from what it looks like we filed with the court, there's actually quite a few violations that the DA cited.
biggest thing is, if I'm not a victim to the case, why is she saying that he had contact with me and the children as if it's a violation? Because how can it be a violation if the judge and Doug said that it was okay? Unless
Did the probation officer impose some kind of no contact order?
Stephanie Allen has met me, and I've showed up to my husband's probation meetings every single time. She sees me. She doesn't talk to me. She came to my house and did a house visit and searched my kid's room illegally. She can't search my kid's room. That's not where my husband stayed. That's where the kids lay their head. My husband is not in that room. She's been to my house. I just don't understand. She knows that he's with us, and she knows that it's okay. But yeah, she's gonna write a report and make Gillian Fischer say that he had contact with me and the children, and I don't understand that.
Okay.
Because if he's not supposed to have contact with me and the children, then why would Stephanie Allen put him on house arrest at my house? If that's the allegations that he's going up against.
I'm looking back trying to see if at some point there was a change, because because the original order said that it was okay to have contact, there may have been some other change. It's been a long time since this case originally closed now, and I have not gone through everything to see what changes there may have been, either from the probation officer or from the court or from the DA, if there was some kind of change about the no contact order. Because even if that originally wasn't part of the judgment, the PO or the DA may still have the power to change that and impose a no contact order, even if there was not one before, while he still has supervision.
Well, okay, if there was a change of him not having any contact order, why didn't anybody inform me that there was a no contact order between me and my husband? And how can
Well, that would have been up to the probation office to do that.
So I'm gonna just have to look and call the courts and see if there's a no contact order, because he has probation in Multnomah, not Marion County. So that means that the probation officer would have had to put a no contact order here in Multnomah County amongst me and my husband.
Well, because the PO has a certain amount of control to be able to, add or take away conditions of someone's probation, depending on what's going on with them. And I see, originally it was July 2015 is when his judgment was entered. And I'm trying to look back and to see if I can find that original judgment.
I would think that that's kind of like a setup when you don't even let him or me know, because to me, there's the courts and everybody saying that he promoted me, the prostitute, and everybody gets in trouble, like Doug said. Well, if I'm the prostitute that he promoted, then I guess wouldn't I be considered a victim, because they're saying that he promoted me and he used some type of intimidation to have me prostitute myself? I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I wish somebody would just be honest and stop mind playing me, because I've been in a pimp and pandering case, and I can't. What did I witness? If I was the witness to his case, who's the prostitute?
Well, you can be a victim in one case and a witness in another case, or you can be a defendant in one case and a witness in another case. It's not like you can only be one thing at one time. If there's multiple cases going on, you can have different roles in different cases.
So I'm a victim and a witness to this case, like Doug said. I'm partially a victim and a witness. So what did I witness? Are you saying I'm a witness because of my testimony? Well, why didn't I go to the grand jury? This is what I'm saying. Why didn't Doug contact me earlier to investigate if he felt that I was victimized partially? I've never known a district attorney not contact me and give me a victim's advocate earlier on in the criminal proceedings.
So Jessica, can I ask this question? What would be the change for you? What do you think would be different if you were labeled as a victim
contact with me, and if I had any concerns or questions, I could contact her. But at the same token, it's like everybody's excluding me because I feel like because they know that I know the difference between a victim and a witness, and my whole thing is that which part do I really play in this case? Am I a victim, or was I only a victim to prosecute my husband and then became a witness after the fact, so I wouldn't be in any other proceeding of court dealings?
So I think what may have happened, and I'm not 100% sure because to be honest, I don't remember everything about that conversation that you and Doug and I had, and I don't know what all was in Doug's head, but whether someone is labeled as a victim or a witness, they can still be subpoenaed to court and asked to testify at a trial or any kind of hearing. I think, grand jury, we don't have to subpoena every witness if we have enough witnesses, sort of the bare minimum to accomplish what we need, then we can do that. And I think that's what happened with the grand jury in this case, is that we only required to have the officers there, and at the time I think that's when you were still a defendant on an open case, and so that may be why you weren't called to grand jury. I think frankly what Doug was trying to do was do you the favor of giving you some additional information and giving you that chance to have your voice heard before he made a decision about what he was going to do with your husband's case. He didn't have to consult you about what you wanted to see happen. He didn't have to ask you what kind of sentence you thought your husband should get, but he did.
How can he not tell me if he's saying I'm a victim? Because in the police report, it has my name listed as a victim.
Right, and sometimes when someone's name is listed in a police report under one label, the district attorney can choose to change that. They can change charges, they can file things differently based on what they know of the law and what they see about the evidence in that case. And that's why we go to grand jury, is to have a group members from our community confirm the charges that the DA is charging, so that the DA is just going around making up charges, that they run it through this checks and balance process to confirm that our community agrees with us about the charges that we're filing.
Well, why would the DA have a victim go to the grand jury and testify? Because that's what I did in the other promoting and compelling type of case. I went to the grand jury and gave them my testimony and told them what had happened to me and how I was being promoted by a pimp.
In your previous case?
Yes.
And that was the choice of that district attorney to have you do that, and that was different than the choice that Doug made.
If it took only 2 officers to go to the grand jury, everybody would be in jail. Everybody would be in jail if only took 2 officers. What did the officers witness? Because I was in a hotel room. So how can they witness anything when they was not even in the room?
Jessica, I know that you're very upset. I know this entire case is very frustrating for you.
It's frustrating because it's wrong. I'm gonna just be honest. I recorded that whole entire conversation with Douglas Hanson because I knew something funny was gonna happen. I recorded the whole entire conversation with us 3 because of the simple fact that I knew he was teeter-tottering and playing me. I'm not stupid. I know what a victim is and I know what a witness is. I have plenty of paperwork and plenty of information, and I even have my case from prior when I was actually a vulnerable victim under the age of 18. He put in the paperwork that I was a vulnerable victim when I was 26 years old. I wasn't a child, and he didn't give me a chance to give no testimony. He didn't give me a chance to tell me anything. It was his way or no way because he got so cocky with me. He's a lawyer. I'm not. I have extensive background. Well, my extensive background criminal history consists of juvenile, non-adults. I only have 1 charge of a prostitution, and it just frustrates me because in the criminal proceeding he had to have had a victim because he made my husband to a sex offender. So who's the victim? If he's a sex offender, he has to have a victim he victimized. And y'all saying that I'm a witness. So if I witness my husband victimize somebody, so who's this prostitute that he promoted?
Well, it was you.
How? When I got charged with prostitution, and he himself said that he knew that I was in Salem because of the post that I made indicated earlier on that day. So he knew that I did it, and he even said that I was in Oregon still doing it. So how did my husband office. You know, like, it just doesn't, a lot of things just doesn't make sense to me, because he's saying that he promoted me as a prostitute, but yet he picked and chose when he wanted me to speak in the criminal procedures, because at the end he knew he didn't have a case. There was no case. I was the prostitute. I'm 26 years old. There's no mental issues with me. I clearly know right from wrong. And I can't be a victim if I choose to commit my own crime as a prostitute.
So I know that you are very upset about the way that this case played out,
Because it was wrong. It was
and I hear that.
My whole
And the reason,
I just feel like that Douglas Hanson used me in my prior past of a compelling and promoting prostitution case from when I was a juvenile. He looked that up, seen it, and then decided to go with it because he seen the two similarity of the two men in this case was me, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm not trying to be rude to you, but you wasn't my advocate because you didn't even contact me in the earlier on the proceedings of this case. I contacted you guys finding information, wondering why I can't be around my husband at the time. And that's how you came into play a week before he was going to go to trial. And that's what I'm saying. I'm partially a victim, but I had no rights. Let's be honest. I mean, I know you're a case manager for the Victim Assistance Program. I understand that. And I know that Douglas Hanson works very closely to the victim task enforcement. You know, I know all this stuff, just like he did his investigation. I did my investigation too, because at the end of the day, I feel that my rights as a partial victim were stripped from me. I didn't have a say. I just did it, and I have a right to voice my opinion because Douglas Hanson used me to prosecute my husband, and if he felt that I was going to have a biased opinion, why would you subpoena me?
so let me ask you this. What would you like to see happen now?
I want the truth to be told. I want somebody to really look into this situation because everyone's saying Douglas Hanson himself, in his own words, said he made me into a victim. Now I understand what he meant when he said he made me into a victim. But if he made me into a victim, all my victim rights were stripped from me. Every single one of them. I didn't have any. He excluded me from all court procedures. Every single one.
How did he exclude you?
Because if I was a victim, I have a right to be able to show up to court.
Well, anybody has the right to show up to court. They're public hearings. You could have been at any of the hearings that were held in open court.
Oh, that's not what Douglas Hanson said.
Well, there's some hearings that don't happen in public courtrooms. There's like status conferences or grand jury, things like that. But any plea hearing or arraignment or trial is public as well. And so any of those, his admit deny hearings that he has going on now out at the.
You just said that I could have showed up to the plea hearing, right? But don't you remember what Doug said, that if I wanted to go to the plea hearing that I would have to contact you and show up? Then that's the only way I was going to be able to show up. But if it's public hearing, why did I have to ask you to go there? Because technically you wasn't an advocate. That's what I'm saying.
Well, you didn't have to contact me. We thought that it was, if I remember correctly, I think you had some transportation issues, and we were saying that I might be able to help you figure out transportation to get down here from Portland. And I could go to court with you just so you had someone there for support and someone to give you information and explain what was going on if you were going to be there.
But if I wasn't a victim, why would I need an advocate's support if I was just a witness?
Well, you don't if you don't want it. Even if you are a victim and you said, I don't want you at my hearing, then I wouldn't go to and force you to sit next to me or anything like that. It's a courtesy that we provide.
My whole thing is that I just feel like this case was illegally done because he used me to prosecute a man that had no dealings with promoting me as a prostitute. And I've told Doug that numerous of times in our conversation, and to me, I felt like he just, excuse my language, but just don't understand how a person can be partial victim. How you either victimize or you're not. A person doesn't hurt somebody, kind of ish. You know, they either hurt them or they don't. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I just feel like he was underestimating my intelligence.
Well, you have the right to your opinion. I mean, you can believe whatever you want to believe, but I think that the situation, if you had said to us, I was hurt by him and I am afraid and I feel like I was victimized, then that might have been a different situation for our case. But sometimes people can still commit a crime. There are some crimes that don't necessarily have to have a victim listed, or maybe the victim may not even, somebody could steal something from someone and they wouldn't even know that it was stolen until the police came and told them, hey, someone stole something from you. So, it can be kind of a complicated situation.
I mean, it's just weird because every sex offender that register has a victim to stay away from. There's no victim in this. Everyone's saying I'm just a witness, but who does he have to stay away from? And if Douglas Hanson feels like I was a victim by my husband, where's the protective order?
Well, it looks like it got reimposed at some point because that's one of the allegations now for him violating his probation is that he was having contact with you and your children.
And that's my point. So if there's supposedly another protective order, why isn't anybody informing me if I'm supposedly this partial victim?
I don't know. I think that's something. I mean, the DA's office. We haven't touched this case since January until March or till May, and so I don't know what happened in between there. I don't know if the PO made some kind of change, but if nothing else, they should be telling him, your husband, that he needs to stay away from you because the responsibility is on him to follow his probation. But I would hope that the probation office would also notify you about that, just so there wasn't any confusion.
Stephanie Allen does not talk to me. And another thing that I have issue with is the fact that Stephanie Allen gets mad because I do have a 4-year-old, and on top of it, I'm pregnant with twins. So this is the thing that I get kind of upset with. Douglas Hanson said that Matthew Johnson doesn't have any concerns with Matthew being around other children. This isn't the typical sex offender type of case. So if this is not a typical sex offender case where he abuses or touches or do anything to kids in that type of format, why can't he partake in his children's schooling? Because my 4-year-old went to his school and said that I hate my dad's PO, Stephanie Allen, because he can't go to school and participate because Stephanie Allen said that he can't be around where kids congregate. Now, I got this big old mess I have to clean up because my 4-year-old is telling his teachers and them that he's upset and he's lashing out because his dad can't be involved. And now Stephanie is saying, well, he can't go and pick up his son from school. So what am I supposed to do when I'm on bed rest and I can't go pick up my son? I don't have anybody to go help me. It was me and my husband, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it's very frustrating because I feel like there's all these little underlying little things that they're doing behind our backs. Douglas Hanson said there's no issue with him being around children, but this Stephanie Allen and Gillian Fischer is saying something totally different. How can I go against what the judgment said? It's already done, sealed, delivered.
Well, nothing's ever set in stone, and like I said, the PO has a certain amount of control over him, and if circumstances change, then they can change his conditions, and I know that the original intent was for, that Doug Hanson recognized that it would be an obvious hardship for Matthew to not be able to have contact with his own children, or sort of, I think it was even mentioned extended family, children of the extended family in there. But that doesn't mean that he gets the privilege of going to schools and other places where there are lots of other kids.
But this is not dealing with a child. That's what I'm saying. There's no.
Right, but there's still concerning behavior there. So he was given the privilege of having contact with his own children.
his kids, it doesn't make sense because I actually know another sex offender, and he can't be around his kids, and he just got out of prison. So what's the difference? It's contradicting because all sex offenders follow underneath the same rule, but Matthew Mayfield Johnson all of a sudden got these extra special privileges to be around his wife and kids, but then later on you guys use it against him?
Like I said, Jessica, I don't know what the change was. I don't know where that happened because I haven't been updated with all the details of this case, so I can't speak to when or why that change happened.
Is it not in the computer saying that we can't be around? I mean,
it's probably in there somewhere. There's so many things that have happened in this case. I was trying to comb through all of that history, and I was trying to also listen to you. So I wanted to give my attention to you so that we can have a conversation.
I just think that if there was a protective order, I think somebody should have informed me. I would have just thought that they would have let me know, oh, by the way, there's no contact order between you and your husband. But to me, it seems like that's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. There's a protective order, but by law, they can't split us up because technically we married. What would be there's no domestic violence. We don't have any history of any type of abuse amongst each other. Like, I just don't understand what the protective order would be.
Well, a court can impose a protective order on anyone that they see fit. And so if there was something sometimes they even have no contact orders between co-defendants in cases. I'm trying to pull up right now and my computer's not quite working.
It's just frustrating because I hear all these little things here and there, and when I see the paperwork, it's something totally different, and it gets frustrating because I feel like people are still using me to send my husband back to prison.
Okay. So what would you like to see happen now?
I would like to be a part of this case because if you guys are all saying that he promoted me as the prostitute, then I should be able to have every single say and partake in every single situation because I'm part of the case. If Douglas Hanson didn't say he promoted me as the prostitute, then there would be no dealings with Matthew. It would just be dealing with whatever Douglas Hanson. But because he charged me with the prostitute June 13th, then he's using the fact, okay, well, we prosecuted Jessica as a prostitute, and then later on, that means that signifies, okay, she was prostituting, and he's the reason why he's prostituting. And that's not the situation. Everybody's in the court system has it all wrong because he didn't promote me as a prostitute. When Doug himself said that I showed proof by the act that I indicated earlier on that day before the officers came and busted me. So I just don't understand. Nobody's explaining to me how he promoted me.
I think we've explained it to you. I think that you just don't agree with it.
But how can he promote me?
Because even if you agree to it, if he is involved, then he is promoting. If he was there, if he was helping, then he's promoting. I know you don't agree with it, but that's what the police saw, and that's what Doug agreed with. So that's what they charged. If you had said, I didn't want to do this, he forced me to do it, then the situation may have been different.
Oh yeah, of course it would be different. Douglas Hanson would have every single contact with me underneath the sun if possible. And that's what I'm saying. I'm 26 years old. He knows that I've had an extensive background of prostitution before I even met or married my husband. And that's what I'm saying. If he's such a prosecutor and lawyer and he knows the law, went to school and has all these awards, then you would think that he knows the law very well. Promoting prostitution and knowing that there's two or more prostitutes in an area or enterprise. So if I'm one prostitute, where's the other prostitute? Because the law says in Oregon, promoting prostitution consists of two or more prostitutes in a segregated enterprise of area that witness. So that's what I'm saying. Who's this vulnerable victim if it's not me?
I don't know without the Blakely stuff in front of me. I will say that if it was filed on the 22nd, it looks like that was before you were charged. So they may have been debating what your status was going to be at that point.
Debating whether I was a victim or a witness, and he charged me he charged me with prostitution. So like what I said in the video, I've never known a victim to be charged with a criminal act because of somebody else's doing.
Well, didn't you admit that it was? I mean, isn't that what you said, that your husband had nothing to do with it? That it was you that made that choice?
I did. So who's the victim? There's gotta be a victim in order for you guys to have my husband register as a sex offender. Who did he promote as a prostitute if I am the witness?
You can be a witness, and he can still be promoting you.
A witness? How can he still promote me as a witness? Come on, I'm not stupid. A witness is a standby. That means I had to have seen my husband send this girl as a prostitute on the streets, and I called the Marion County Police Department and said, hey, I see this black man on so-and-so street with this girl, and he's hitting her and abusing her, and I think he might be prostituting her. That didn't happen.
I know, and that's not what a witness is. Were you there when he was arrested? Were you there when the police came into that hotel room?
Yeah, because Officer Roger Smith, probable cause was me because I posted an ad earlier on that day. And my husband was sick. He had just drove down from Portland to Salem to stop me from doing it, and then I didn't tell him that there was an officer coming because I didn't even know. I didn't tell him anything. He just came, and the police came. My husband was sick. He was misdiagnosed as a diabetic, but instead of them taking me, they cited me, told me to come back for 30 days, and they took him to jail. So what was the probable cause for taking him? What did he do? What led my husband to the police if it wasn't me?
Well, I think the police showed up there because of you, but then they found evidence of him also committing crimes, like the drug crime, and the fact that he was there was what they established probable cause to arrest him for those two crimes.
But the possession of oxycodone was in my purse. Those were.
I know, Jessica. We've talked about this before. We're going around in circles, okay? I know that you're very upset about this.
It's wrong. Nobody wants to see that it's wrong. Everybody wants to take Douglas Hanson's word because he's a district attorney. Well, used to be a district attorney, but to me that's a red flag because if you're such a good district attorney and you're a lawyer and you've been working for 18 plus years and you work on the Victims' Rights Task Enforcement and the committees and all of this stuff, why did you leave the office if you did everything lawfully?
Sometimes people just change jobs. That's a thing that people do.
What a
It doesn't have to be for a bad reason.
He left not too long after he prosecuted this case.
So here's the thing, Jessica. If you have any new questions for me, I'm happy to discuss them with you. If you want to go to the probation violation hearing on the 6th of December at 2:30 in the afternoon at the court annex in courtroom B, you can do that. It's public. I don't know if you are going to be required to testify at that hearing. I haven't heard anything about that yet. If you're not subpoenaed, then you don't have to be there. But if you want to be there, you can be.
Nobody has subpoenaed me because, like you said, I'm just a witness. I'm not a victim. They don't need my testimony because they have Stephanie Allen's reports and whatever.
And if you have more questions about the current status of a no-contact order, I would recommend you call Stephanie Allen because she's going to be the one that's going to have that most up-to-date information.
Do you know how many times I've tried calling this lady and she refuses to talk to me? So how am I going to get anywhere where she doesn't communicate? That's why I contacted you and Gillian Fischer because I didn't understand the allegations and why he couldn't be around me and the children mainly. And now if there's a protective order, she's not going to talk to me. She won't say anything to me. She came into my house and didn't even say anything to me. And this is my house. Regardless of a probationer is living here. You guys forced him to live here with me. He didn't have to.
Well, and POs have the right to go and check on their client's home. So if he was living there.
Right, but not go through my kids' room and go look through their room because there's no reason for her to go into my kid's room.